Presentation skills is an area that I work with clients on very frequently, whether that's on an individual basis or in a group workshop. And of course, I work as a motivational speaker myself, speaking at conferences and events up and down the country and internationally. So I'm always looking for ways of honing my own craft as well. In this short video, I want to share with you 3 practical tips that you can apply to your presentation straight away. Whether your presentation is a more informal team type discussion or whether it's something a bit more structured where you're speaking at a formal event. The first tip I want to share with you is having a clear intention. Now, what do I mean by intention? Intention's what's at the forefront of my mind. If we think of what's at the forefront of the minds of a lot of presenters, it might be thoughts like, how can I get out of here in one piece? How can I get this over with as quickly as possible? I hope to God they don't ask me any horrible questions. You know, those intentions are not going to aid you when it comes to delivering an effective presentation. So we want to have a clear, positive intention. Now, in the short term, having a thought that's something like, well, how can I enjoy this, might be a little bit of a stretch. But we can certainly contemplate something like, well, how can I learn from this? Because we can always learn from every experience. We want our intention, though, to be focused on what it is you want to achieve, not what it is you want to avoid. And I think intention has that great benefit of combining what it is you want to achieve with how you want to approach it. So it could be something like, well, how can I influence this group? How can I wow them? How can I educate them? How can I ensure they buy into the points I'm trying to make? It doesn't really matter what it is, as long as it's conscious and as long as it's positive, because everything else follows from that. The second tip is having a clear engagement strategy. Now, what do I mean by that? Engagement is, how am I going to relate to the audience? Even presenters who prepare well, you know, they have some slick slides and they have some good graphics and they're clear on what it is they want to say. Most of the time they're focusing on the statements they want to express. One of the main things we can consider in advance is, how am I going to interact with the group? Now, in more informal scenarios, maybe in more team-type presentations, and certainly in a training context, questions are the main way that we engage with groups. Questions turn monologues into dialogues. Questions is how we foster discussion. Questions is how we test for understanding. Now, in more structured presentations, we can't really have that two-way dialogue going on, but we can still use rhetorical questions as a way of fostering people's imagination, getting them involved, getting them thinking. There are some other practical tips that we can consider as well when we're looking to engage with a group. We want our body language to be open as opposed to, you know, all wrapped up and closed on ourselves. We want to have a pleasant expression on our face. And most importantly, we want to ensure we make eye contact with the group. In the past, old, outdated presentation skills advice was something like pick a spot on the back wall and deliver to it, but who wants to speak over people's heads? In big forums, you can't make eye contact with everyone, but you can make eye contact with the length and breadth of the room. Eye contact is how we bring people in, it's how we engage them. And of course, a lot of presenters don't make eye contact because they're busy reading their slides, and if those slides are behind them, well, their back is to the audience, and that ain't fostering engagement. So the second tip, have a clear engagement strategy. Presenting is not just about delivering information, it's about engaging with the group. The third and final tip I'm sharing with you is around having a clear close. Now, in a previous presentation skills video, I mentioned the importance of knowing how you're going to start your presentation. Here we're looking at a clear close, and that's usually around how we're going to manage questions. So often people will finish a presentation by saying, well, any questions? And that's okay, but we can do better than that. I would always say something like, well, I would welcome any questions you might have, or I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. So we turn it into a full sentence, we put a few action verbs in there, and we let the audience know that we're happy to interact with them. So I hope these few tips have been of practical benefit to you. The 3 of them, just to recap: having a clear intention, having a purposeful engagement strategy, and then deciding in advance that you're going to say something better than any questions at the end, letting the audience know that you're happy to interact with them. Remember, all presentations are a means to an end, but if you're someone who is serious about enhancing your own presentation skills, you also look at each presentation as an opportunity for you to further hone your skill, hone your craft.